When Hayley Wickenheiser talks, people listen. She's the most recognized figure in women's hockey, and one of the most recognizable in the sport, worldwide. She won Olympic gold 4 times for Canada and has been breaking down barriers since 1998 when she participated in the Philadelphia Flyers rookie camp at age 19 at the invitation of then GM Bobby Clarke. Longtime Canadian national team star Hayley Wickenheiser inspired today's generation of female players with her success in the women's game, and by making inroads in men's hockey, it's more getting beyond the tradition and the culture that exists in hockey, which is not easy for a woman to break into. Jeff McIntosh, the Canadian press file photo, "I've had the most opportunities in the most unorthodox areas," says Wickenheiser. "People find that interesting or groundbreaking. But for me, I'm just doing my thing and playing hockey, or coaching. When you have a platform where people want to listen, I think you should use it to make a difference." Wickenheiser may well be the most influential woman in hockey, at a time when former teammates Jana Hefford, Gina Kingsbury and Sammy Jo Small have risen to positions of power in the sport, and she's the inspiration for our look at the women who are making a difference in the game. While influence is hard to measure, there's no denying that there are more opportunities for women than ever before, even if breaking the glass ceiling in male-dominated sports is taking longer than in other industries. Article continued below. "When I first started, the only opportunity was to make the national team and go to the Olympics and be a player," says the 39-year-old Wickenheiser, who accepted an invitation to run practices for the North Korean men's and women's teams before the Pyeongchang Winter Games in February. "Now there are so many opportunities for women to work in hockey if they set their mind to it. The obvious ones are with the national team, but also universities in Europe. I still think the NHL is slow, but it's coming. I don't think there's an area now where a female couldn't work. It's a question of the right time, the right person." Hefford, part of this year's class of Hockey Hall of Fame inductees, was recently named interim commissioner of the Canadian Women's Hockey League, while Kingsbury took over the national women's program and Small was named general manager of the CWHL's Toronto Furies. Renata Fast, a 23-year-old Furies blue liner who helped Canada win silver at her first Olympics in South Korea, sees a bright future thanks to trailblazers such as Wickenheiser, Danielle Goyette and Cassie Campbell-Pascall. "Doors are opening," says Fast. "These doors are being opened because people begin to realize that it's experience that matters, regardless what your gender is or what league you played in before. If you know what you're talking about and you have the credentials, and you're a good person and a good coach, it shouldn't matter if you're a male or a female." At the national and university levels and with 2 North American pro leagues, women are well represented in influential roles. The NHL is a different story. Article continued below. "There are several women on the business and legal sides, as well as in public relations, media relations and the social media realm. But hockey ops, coaching, managing, training, scouting, remain almost totally male. Hockey is probably behind all pro sports in that area," says Wickenheiser, who retired from playing last year. "I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility. It's more getting beyond the tradition and the culture that exists in hockey, which is not easy for a woman to break into. You have to be the right kind of person, the personality, the skill set. I think we'll see it at some point. It's got to be a progressive organization." The Arizona Coyotes have Don Braid on staff as a skating coach, but analytics could be the game changer. Alexandra Mandraki, armed with a PhD in statistics, is part of the Minnesota Wild's hockey operations staff after co-founding the now-defunct war-on-ice.com. Megan Shaka, who co-founded the analytics company Stathletes along with her brother John, now GM of the Arizona Coyotes, has had her voice heard selling performance data. "Look at the NBA. There are women working on the bench," said Shaka. "There are challenges and some differences, but it's not something women can't overcome. As more women get involved, maybe in analytics or sports science, or even on the hockey operations side, and play hockey, they get experience for any sort of management position." There are 2 female assistant coaches in the NBA, Becky Hammon of the San Antonio Spurs and Jenny Bouchek with the Dallas Mavericks. Breaking into the NHL as a coach shouldn't be any different. I think University of Calgary coach Danielle Goyette should be the first coach, said Campbell-Pascall, adding that the Hockey Hall of Famer already mentors NHL players. But I don't know when they're ever going to ask that. You'll never see a female NHL player, maybe a goalie. But I don't know that we should ever fight for that. We should fight for our own league. That subject remains divisive. Merging the CWHL and US-based National Women's Hockey League is a top priority for Hefford in her new role, and Wickenheiser couldn't agree more. The goal is a women's NHL, not the CWHL and NWHL, says Wickenheiser, who played a total of 43 games in Finnish and Swedish men's pro leagues more than a decade ago. Until the best players in the world play in one league, we're not going to progress women's hockey to where it needs to be at. That's not a male problem in hockey. That's the women in hockey that have to figure it out. Strength in numbers. Women are making inroads in the consciousness of the hockey world, some blazing that trail behind the scenes, others in the forefront. Some work in the NHL, others in broadcasting, with national associations, at the university and grassroots levels and in women's professional leagues. Here's a quick look, in alphabetical order, at several of the most influential women in the sport today. Tara Black, the chief operating officer of the Charlotte Checkers, is the only woman to be voted All-Executive of the Year 2015-16. She runs the day-to-day business, including the club's transition from the ECHL in 2010 and move to a new arena, Bojangles Coliseum. Heidi Browning, the NHL's chief marketing officer and executive vice president, leads the league's growth marketing strategy with a focus on digital, innovation and social media. Jennifer Bullana Ridgely, the senior director of communications for the Pittsburgh Penguins, is one of the highest-ranking females in NHL media relations. She tells Sidney Crosby et al. How to spend their time in public, balancing the needs of the team with those of the media in what is often a thankless task compared to herding cats. Cassie Campbell-Pascall, after winning a pair of Olympic gold medals as Team Canada's captain, the 44-year-old moved into TV work and now provides color commentary on Hockey Night in Canada. National team standouts Tessa Bonham and Jennifer Botterill have also crossed over into broadcasting. Megan Shaka, co-founder of Stathletes, a hockey analytics company that sells data on player performance to teams, broadcasters and trainers. She also teaches sports statistics at the University of Toronto. Melody Davidson, the former Team Canada coach, had a hand in 3 Olympic champion teams and recently handed off the role of national team general manager to Gina Kingsbury. Megan Duggan, the Team USA captain, 30, spearheaded a threatened boycott of the 2017 Women's World Championship over equal pay and other support, and it worked. They negotiated a better deal to advance women's and girls' hockey at youth levels, while also giving female players travel and insurance provisions equal to what the men's national team gets. Each player also got a $2,000 monthly training stipend year-round from the United States Olympic Committee, and larger performance bonuses for winning medals. Charlotte Graham, the vice president of hockey administration for the Colorado Avalanche, is listed under the assistant general managers in the team's directory, ahead of the club president. Her name is on the Stanley Cup. The AVs have won 2 in her 23-year tenure, as is that of her son, goalie John Graham. Joanne Holowa has filled a similar role with the New York Islanders since the late 1970s. Cammy Granato, the Hockey Hall of Fame inductee, Granato and Angela James were the first women selected in 2010, helped the U.S. win the first Olympic gold in women's hockey in 1998, a victory that today's players point to as an inspiration. Now 47, she runs the Golden Dreams for Children Foundation and a hockey camp for girls. Elena Elliott, the award-winning columnist for the Los Angeles Times, where she began in 1989, was the first female winner of the Hockey Hall of Fame's Elmer Ferguson Award for her coverage of the game. Danielle Goyette, the Hockey Hall of Famer, two-time Olympic gold medalist and Canadian flag bearer at the 2006 Games, turned to coaching after her playing days. Now 52, she runs the successful University of Calgary Dinos program while training some Calgary-based NHLers in the off-season and mentoring them in season. Jayna Hefford, set to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in November, the 41-year-old Hefford won 4 Olympic gold medals with Team Canada and is second only to Hayley Wickenheiser in national team scoring with 157 goals and 134 assists. The Canadian Women's Hockey League MVP trophy is named after Hefford, who recently became interim commissioner of the CWHL, taking over from Brenda Andrus, who ran the league for almost 12 years, and has said she hopes to fill the job permanently. Marian Ilitch, the 85-year-old owner and secretary-treasurer of the Detroit Red Wings, co-founded Little Caesars Pizza with late husband Mike. She isn't as active on the hockey side today, but was instrumental in turning the NHL club's fortunes around in the 1990s, including signing off on Sergei Fedorov's controversial 6-year, $38 million deal in 1998. The world's richest self-made woman, according to Forbes magazine, also co-founded the Little Caesars amateur hockey program. Lori Kepron, the NHL's Group Vice President of Partnership Marketing since 1996, is responsible for developing the league's North American marketing strategy, along with expanding the global fan base. Gina Kingsbury, the 36-year-old two-time Olympic gold medalist, retired from national team duty in 2010. This past week, after an apprenticeship at the under-18 and under-22 levels, she took over as head of the Canadian women's program, where her duties will include the hiring of coaches for the Olympics and World Championship, and deciding which players are selected for tryout camps. Angela James, the first superstar of women's hockey, elected to the IIHF Hall of Fame in 2008 and Hockey Hall of Fame in 2010, helped break down race and gender barriers and, at 53, remains active as a coach at the grassroots level. Alexandra Mandrycky, the Minnesota Wild analytics expert, might be the only female on the inside of hockey operations with an NHL team. Her role includes data collection and interpretation, including management, coaches and scouts. Mary McCarthy, the NHL's Executive Vice President of Finance, manages day-to-day accounting, business analysis, cash management, financial reporting, payroll, benefits and travel administration for a league that generates $4.54 billion US in revenue. Shannon Miller, the Team Canada pioneer, helped form the first Girls Hockey Association in 1989 and went on to become one of the most successful coaches in NCAA history. More important, perhaps, in March, she won a lawsuit against her former employer, the University of Minnesota Duluth, over sex discrimination and equal pay. Kim Pegula, the Buffalo Sabres co-owner, at 49, is just getting started in her role as club president, but she was the only female team member on stage for the June draft and one of 3 listed among the 125 NHL governors for the 2017-18 season, along with Anaheim Ducks co-owner Susan Samueli and Montreal Canadiens executive vice president France-Margaret Belanger. Marie-Philip Poulin, perhaps no one has scored more big goals in Canadian hockey. She's the best female player in the country today and, at 27, an important role model. Fran Ryder, the 67-year-old founder of the Ontario Women's Hockey Association, was elected to the IIHF Hall of Fame and named to the Order of Canada in 2015. Jackie Ryan, Lisa Ferkul. Ryan is Vice President of Sponsorship Marketing and Philanthropy at Scotiabank, while Ferkul is Scotiabank's Director of Hockey Sponsorship. They were at the forefront on multi-million-dollar deals involving arena and naming rights, grassroots development and NHL sponsorship, plus individual contracts with the Leafs' Austin Matthews and the Predators' PK. Donnie Ryland, the 30-year-old founder and commissioner of the American-based National Women's Hockey League, played collegiate hockey at Northwestern. With pressure increasing toward a merger with the CWHL, Ryland is said to be not particularly fond of the way the other league does business. Christine Simpson, the Sportsnet Hockey Night in Canada reporter, 53, has been perhaps the most visible female covering strictly hockey in the last decade. She has also worked ringside for ESPN, ABC and NBCSN. Sammy Jo Small, the 42-year-old goalie, won Olympic gold with Team Canada and co-founded the CWHL in 2007. Recently, the Right to Play ambassador was named general manager of the Toronto Furies. Barb Underhill, Don Braid, the former Olympic figure skaters have saved and kick-started NHL careers with sound skating advice. Underhill is a consultant with the Maple Leafs, while Braid, the first woman named to an NHL coaching staff, works with the Coyotes.